If there is one thing that I've struggled with for literally as long as I can remember, it's my body image. If you have ever looked in the mirror and felt ugly or unworthy or distressed with your body, this video is for you. Hi, my name is Sarah, I'm 16 and I'm recently recovered from an eating disorder. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing my top tips to help you deal with bad body image days. And these tips took me a long time to figure out, so learn from my story and my mistakes so that recovery and loving yourself can be easier. Bad body image days are days in which you feel distressed, uncomfortable, or maybe even ugly in your own body. Now, I want to emphasize the fact that having bad body image days is normal and does not mean that you have failed at recovery or that you are currently failing at recovery. Okay, let's get into my top tips. First tip is to avoid or altogether stop body checking. This tip is quite straightforward, but I would definitely say it is the most effective. Body checking can be so easily harmful because any slight change, you'll notice it, like any water retention, any bloating, and maybe even weight gained. And sometimes your body hasn't even changed, but just lighting, angles, and your mood can impact the way you view your body. And most often, it will impact the way you view your body in a negative manner, just because typically we are our own worst critics. I know it can be so tempting to look in the mirror or pinch the fat around your waist or your thighs because one, you can do it easily anywhere you are, and two, it becomes habit at some point. At least for me it did. And so one thing that I used to do to help me really get out of the habit or the unconscious action of checking my body was something I learned in therapy actually. You put 6 elastics around one wrist, and then every time you check your body in some way, you put your fingers around your wrist or you touch your waist or your thighs, every time you do that, you move one elastic onto the other wrist. That way, you actually realize when you do it, and the fact that you realize you're doing it will help you to consciously make the effort to stop it. If you do, however, somehow check your body, whether it was consciously or unconsciously, I advise you to try and say something positive about that thing that you just noticed through body checking. For example, rather than saying, "Ugh, my arms are so fat," think about the fact that you have arms that do so much for you. Like you hug your favorite people, you cook with them, you write with them, you play your favorite sports with them. Every time you think, "Ugh, I've gained weight," say to yourself, gaining weight is normal, and if you're in recovery, sometimes gaining weight is absolutely necessary. You can tell yourself, I'm doing this for my health, I'm doing this for my physical and mental health. If you think that saying something positive to yourself is a bit of a stretch right now, that's okay, I understand, but I would still recommend that you distract yourself with some other thoughts unrelated to your eating disorder or your body, just absolutely anything else, because if you avoid saying more negative things about your body, it makes the recovery process easier. Eating disorders are coping mechanisms, and the point of an eating disorder is to keep your mind occupied with eating disorder thoughts all the time so that you don't have to think about the thing that you are trying to cope with, something else that you're trying to cope with. So by avoiding thinking about your eating disorder, slowly but surely, you are recovering. A lot of eating disorder recovery is about hearing the eating disorder voice come, but just ignoring it. And that definitely becomes a lot easier to do with practice. That's why I'm advising you to practice saying nice things about your body, or at least just not saying anything bad. Tip number 2 is do not wear clothing that will make you uncomfortable or triggered. Don't force yourself into the clothing that you know will make you feel triggered and like you hate yourself or your body more. Wear something comfortable. And this comfortable clothing could be different for everyone. For example, if you are particularly insecure about the fat you have on your arms, don't wear a tank top maybe, or about the fat that you have on your waist. Don't wear the absolute tightest leggings that will be constantly reminding you of the fat that you have on your waist. I'm not trying to say that you should always hide your body and your insecurities, not at all. Your body is not something to be ashamed of ever. During recovery, you will eventually learn to accept your body the way it is. But until you get to a point of acceptance, since recovery is hard, wearing comfortable clothes will make the recovery journey a little bit easier. Another really important tip is to remind yourself that feelings are not facts. I can promise you that no matter what body you get to will never satisfy you if you are struggling with an eating disorder. Like I said, eating disorders are coping mechanisms. So if you have an eating disorder, no matter what body you have, just to cope with what you're coping with, your brain will come up with new rules and new expectations for you. So let's say you get to your goal weight, your brain will create a new goal weight. My point here is that your eating disorder is like a brain of its own, and this brain is irrational and illogical. So when your illogical eating disorder brain is speaking to you and telling you that you are ugly or that your thighs are too fat, you have to remember that the way your eating disorder feels about your body is not a fact. And no matter what your body looks like, it does not define your worth. And if you think about it, your logical brain already knows that, whether you're struggling with an eating disorder or not. Just look at your friends or your parents or people who you really care about. Do you ever think to yourself, I love them so much because of their body? No, you don't. You love them because of who they are on the inside. So your brain already knows that your body is not what defines your worth. We just got to listen to that logical side a little more. My next point is to shift the focus on what your body can do. I'm certain that you have found so many random things to criticize your body for. Talk to yourself like you would a friend. Like, yes, you have fat on your arms, but you're supposed to have fat a little bit everywhere. Even though it might feel cheesy and unnatural at first, it is so helpful in the long run. It's a bit of that fake it till you make it kind of process. And my last tip is to unfollow the toxic social media accounts, or just the social media accounts you know make you feel bad about yourself or the way your body looks. I don't know what is going on, but it seems that like the skinny and diet culture is just like making its head right back into our lives. Like, I thought that we were moving away from that, but it seems to be coming back. And I know that seeing these videos of certain bodies that are really hard to attain can make you feel really bad about yourself and the way your body looks, especially when you are so vulnerable to compare the way you look to others as someone with an eating disorder. It can be really easy to compare yourself with others, especially in a way that will bring you down. Your eating disorder brain literally picks up on whatever it can to bring you down. Not only is social media a place where we compare ourselves a lot, but I think that it's no secret that those photos are made so that the person's body looks absolutely exquisite. There's Photoshop, of course, and there's the focus on lighting and even just not eating in the morning so that when they do the photo shoot, their body looks slimmer. And I've seen so many posts that I actually love about how the same body, just at different angles and different poses and different lighting, can actually look so incredibly different. And it really highlights the fact that social media is a lie. And I feel like it's really negative to be comparing ourselves to something that is so perfect, because there actually really isn't anything perfect. So we shouldn't expect ourselves to be so perfect. I really think that without social media, there would be less eating disorders and less comparison, because there wouldn't be this expectation of how you should eat or how your body should look that would make people feel like they have to change to be worthy and valuable and beautiful. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that this video helped you in any way that you need. Please comment down below what tips helped you the most with your struggles with bad body image days, because the more comments, the more people we can help. Also, please like and subscribe so that you don't miss another video from me. Again, thank you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!